Welcome to Reckless Speculation. I am your humble host tonight, Randall, who has fell off a ladder that has been gone for about 3 weeks. Let me get my tea in the right place, guys. There you go. Feels right. Welcome everybody back to the show. I'm not normal in our normal studio, but have to do. I'm feeling great. Glad to be back with you. Of course, joining me tonight, two of the three regulars. Raj Meadow will be along in a little bit, but let's start within the center square. Robbie Davis. Man, it's good to be back with you, Robbie.
Hey, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're on the mend and on the way back up. My just opening reaction is I got a comic relief this morning when I woke up to the Washington Commanders. I can't believe they paid a marketing firm to come in and name themselves the Washington Commanders. Like all of those names were pretty stupid. I'm pretty sure we talked about that on the show at one point, how stupid they all were. But this was one of the worst. And like the amount of money spent and the logos and the trademarks and oh my god, it's so stupid. It makes my head hurt.
I thought it was one of the worst, and I thought it was commodes to start with. I'll be honest with you. I had to read it twice.
It's the equivalent of the Huntsville Trash Pandas. Like it's just like it's almost a joke of a name. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know which is worse, the Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians, or the Washington Commanders. They both really sound like a knockoff video game where you really couldn't get Madden as a kid. So your parents bought you the knockoff version of like backyard football. So it's the Washington Commanders.
Each of those Washington Commanders, they're each 3 syllables. Like, and it's not my original joke. It's gonna be the Washington Commons. Like it's so horrible that it's just bad.
Well, the Washington football team was a better name than the Commanders. Like they should have just stuck with that. I don't get it at all.
I truly hate that name. I think it may be one of the worst names I've ever heard. But let's go from the good to the bad. Unexpectedly to me, and maybe I'm the only guy that didn't expect it, Tom Brady announces retirement. Did it catch you guys off of? Did it catch you off guard, or were it something you were expecting, Robbie?
Yeah, it caught me off guard when I first heard the press conference that he gave that he was thinking about it. For one, caught me off guard. And even the breaking news. I've always taken Brady at his word. He said he wanted to play till he was 45, then play possibly 50. Lead the league in passing touchdowns, passing yards. This was not a falling off period. This was not I can't do this anymore. I think this was just you know what? When Forrest Gump stops running in the movie and just says, I'm tired or whatever he says. Like it wasn't that he couldn't do it anymore. He was just it kind of hit a point where I'm done. I'm just done, is what it seems like to me. But I was surprised. I thought he'd keep playing because he has shown nothing but the ability to keep playing at a high level. And we'll touch on it later about what we think. But that was my first reaction. I'll pass to Brandon, then we'll go, talk more about what it means.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like what he said, going to 45, I thought that was kind of the benchmark of will he or will he not retire at that age? Because let's face it, I mean, he is top 3 MVP candidate this year. I mean, led the league in passing touchdowns again at 44. Just incredible. But, I think being Tom Brady and I think his heart is still kind of in it. And I think he wanted to go, but he made that very clear that it's not about him. It's about his family. Giselle wanted him to retire 4 years ago. So I think
Well, I thought
that's
that
a
the body
major.
looked really cool on camera. Yeah, it was really hot, guys, so I had to switch to the hat.
All good.
Well, looking back on it now, you kind of like so looking back on it and then comparing it to what we saw at the beginning of COVID with the Last Dance, and Brady starting to document the man in the mirror. You can kind of see he was plotting this now.
Yeah, he had a
as
foot door
his last season.
for sure, and that's the thing though. It's really hard, and I wonder if he looks at himself in the mirror one day down the road, because he's still at the top of the league as an NFL quarterback, and to hang it up now and just let it go. Will he ever regret, like, hey, a year later, 2 years later? I don't think we're going to see a Favre reaction where he comes back. I think he's done. Once he's done, he's done. But I think he's going to sit there and kind of be like, I still got it. I still have it. I still could be in a Super Bowl right now. That eighth ring would have been pretty,
Well,
4 fingers. I don't know.
And real quick, Randall, going back to leading the league in touchdowns and passing yards, this isn't a league right now that's void of quarterback play. This is a league that is stacked with quarterback talent and the passing all over the field. And he's still up there,
like leading the league. Like it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean,
you're stealing a little bit of my thunder here. The one question I was going to ask, and I'm sure we'll beat this around later. I feel like that's the uniqueness of this situation. Brady leaves with, for a lack of a better word, tread on the tires. When Peyton Manning left the game, he had nothing more he could play.
Right.
Ben Roethlisberger has nothing more he can do to help the game. Drew Brees had nothing more he could do to help the game. Brett Favre had nothing more he could do to help the game. The 7 Super Bowls, the 14 AFC championship games. What, for me, and I'll let you all say this in your own words, what makes him unique and maybe the most special thing about Brady to me, he's still at 45 walking out very much on his own terms and at the top of his game. After everything he's accomplished, I feel like Brady could show up in August and still be a top 10 quarterback. Robbie, how about you? What do you find unique?
I find so, and that's a great point. This feels almost like Barry Sanders walking away, Calvin Johnson walking away, Gale Sayers walking away, but also in your best, but with 7 championships. How is that possible to walk away at what could be the peak of your career, walking away too early as the most accomplished player and franchise? Brady's franchise is won the most Super Bowls. He's won more than any team has. It's hard to put into words how dominant his career was and how impressive it was. And then still leaving, not going out on top as far as a championship. But hey, you want to run it back? He's a top 5 pick at 45.
Absolutely. Brandon, and welcome. Raj Mehta is joining us. We'll finish this up and get on to the game. Brandon, final thoughts on Tom Brady.
Yeah, so I mean, he's the perfect storm of when talent matches the intellectual ability to understand the game. So he had both, and that's a rare quality, and to execute on both. He was a student of the game. I mean, he's the guy that brought everyone up around him, that made his teammates better. I'm sure he made several of his teammates more millions than they would have made otherwise.
240.
Yeah, and to go out on his terms at the top of the league, I think maybe some of that, Favre, Roethlisberger, Sanders, not Sanders, but some of the other guys that kind of fluttered out. They tried to stay in too long.
Drew Bledsoe.
I don't think that was what he wanted. I think a lot of it had to do with his family as well. And to be honest, what else does he have to prove? Like, literally, what else does he have to prove? He's the GOAT. He will forever be the GOAT. Like, broke every record. I mean, amazing to watch. At 44, top 3 at least, if not the top. I mean, what does he got to prove? So it's just end of an era, and it's been amazing to be able to watch that live.
Rod, you
May I chime in?
But do you have anything to add to
Of course.
Talking about the uniqueness
first of all,
of Brady's legacy?
Okay, few things. 4 things. Number 1, I'm sorry for being late. My wife is not feeling well, but I'm always late. Number 2, it was a fumble. Number 3, I read a stat that Tom Brady beat over 120 different quarterbacks during his time. I don't know if you guys covered that or not. And finally, Chain said it about making teammates rich. I think it was something like 240 teammates won, I believe, a Super Bowl because of him. And of course, there's incentives. Amazing release, as everyone said. Brilliant. Best ever. Didn't think I'd say that 5 years or 10 years ago, but I will now.
I think that is the point. Well, let's move on. And I'm sure, let's ask Wes, somewhere down the road, we'll have the debate. Who is the GOAT's GOAT? Jordan, LeBron, Brady, for another day. I think Brady's resume is right there with the best of the best to ever play any sport. The first game I want to move on to is the Rams-Niners this weekend. Initially, I just want everybody to run around the circle here and let's talk a little bit about your impression of the game. Again, for those joining us, this is Reckless Speculation. We do reckless speculating. Also, this is a production of RiverCity-Media. We'll have some stuff you can buy later. But most of all, please go to our YouTube page. Like, follow, and subscribe. It's very critical for us that you do this. Niners-Rams, Robbie. Let's start there. Well, let me move in the other way. Raj, let me hit the West Coast guy first on this one.
As you guys know, sorry, go ahead.
Me watching the game as a fan, I felt like this is the Niners game for 3.5 quarters. I just didn't feel like in the end, offensively, the Niners could make that play to close the Rams out. Again, if it's a Jimmy G issue, what it was, but they couldn't make that one more play with that lead in the fourth quarter. What was your initial impressions of the game?
First of all, being from Southern California, I'll always and forever be a Raider fan. That doesn't mean I don't want the Rams to win, so I'm kind of pulling for them, but of course, don't get it twisted. This game was the antithesis of the Rams, meaning that, as Brandon has said it multiple times, generally they get out to a big lead and then Stafford blows it. Stafford had 337 yards and 2 TDs. He did throw a pick. I think it was tipped, but I don't want to put this on Jimmy G. What's up?
Almost threw a pick at the end of the game to lose it. By the way.
That was bad. Hey, we're both saving face.
Stafford-esque.
Stafford, exactly. But usually it's caught. I don't think it's fair to put it on Jimmy G. The Rams actually shut down a run game, and one of the best run games in the NFL. Whoever the Niners put back there, Elijah Mitchell, Debo, and earlier in the year, all sorts of players. names escape me right now that were injured, even though I drafted one. Debo had 7 for 26, and he was the leading rusher at 3.6 yards. Elijah Mitchell had 11 for 20. If you shut down the run, you're going to put it all in the passing game. And the Rams were doubling Debo a lot over the top, and nobody else stepped up. I mean, I don't know what George Kittle did. So kudos to the Rams. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. And, they went out and snatched the game for once.
I agree with that. I was puzzled, and maybe we can expound on this. George Kittle, for the year stats, just jumps off in his, air targets. I read a stat that he needs less than a yard separation on average than a catch.
He did have a TD. Sorry.
Yes. So, Brandon, what was your early impressions of this game, and what was your instant reaction?
Instant reaction. So we all called this out earlier before the game. Like, the 49ers had to run the ball and control the clock, keep the Rams off the field. As Raj said, that didn't happen so well. Well, then you got to look at the best player on the 49ers offense, Deebo Samuel. He was held to under 100 yards in total offense. And now I don't know if that goes to play calling. I mean, I think the whole fourth quarter, maybe he didn't even touch the ball. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Kyle Shanahan's a better coach than that. You got to get the ball in that guy's hands. And then again, to the interception that, typical Stafford should have thrown, safety dropped, which won the Rams that game. They just got lucky. They got lucky. That was just one of those things that fell their way. That is just the statistic of Stafford. If you look, throughout his career, the games, high pressure situations, this is just what happens. He forces the ball, throws turnovers, bad decisions. That was a bad decision that was dropped, and then they went on to win the game because of it. So I did call the Rams winning this game. I think a couple of us did here. But all in all, Kyle Shanahan, what are you doing? Deebo Samuel, best player on the field. Get him the ball. Like, I just don't understand how he's held to under 100 yards of total offense.
Robbie, I found our friend Justin Thomas' first comment. Jimmy G's gone soon. And, I mean, biggest
He's gone
Niner
now.
fan. I know. And the Niner Nation is almost
He admitted it.
celebrating a quarterback leaving that got them the NFC title game. So, start from there.
So this game had to bring back nightmares for Kyle Shanahan. You're up 17-6 and 17-7 in the fourth quarter, and you blow this lead. I don't have
If
to
you're going to
remind,
say it, let me mute my ears first. Okay?
I don't have to remind the Falcons fan on here about what happens. No, I mean, to me, this is a design problem. This was for Shanahan, who's beat McVay 6 times in a row, and McVay flipped it on him. Kyle Shanahan's offense got 50 yards total rushing in a low-scoring game. You're not going to win that.
Mm-mm.
The Rams outrushed them. The Rams only got 70 yards, but that's 2 first downs better. In a close game, that matters. The Rams threw for 337. Niners threw for 232. Those are first downs. Those are momentum changers. Yeah, I agree. Stafford threw the ball up. Easy interceptions. Probably one of the easiest interceptions you'll see in the NFL. But there's still 7 minutes left on the clock at that point. And
True.
the Niners offense isn't doing anything. Like, they just can't move the ball. And so to me, you can complain about Jimmy G. Yeah, he got him to the NFC Championship game against 2 difficult opponents. This was a coaching matchup, and McVay outfoxed Shanahan, and that's the difference.
Totally agree.
Jimmy G was 31-14, by the way, and credit the Rams, man. They took away Debo and the run game.
Yeah.
So, in running, we always quote statistics because Robbie and I are nerds, but it's not how much you do, it's when you do it.
So I want to address one thing too, and it's a huge chance.
It's like daily yard work.
The Rams organization.
That was clever.
The Rams organization took a
Laughing at
huge chance when Robert Woods got injured to bring in Odell Beckham, who has 9 catches for 113. Odell Beckham, to me, Cooper Kupp. Van Jefferson has really done nothing in that role. They lose Tyler Higbee on the first series. Keith Blanton has a nice game. But Odell Beckham might have been the difference in this game, especially late with some big catches. When Robert Woods went down and they signed Odell Beckham, I think for the most part, my reaction was, oh, they just signed a cancer. Robbie, it wasn't a cancer, is it?
We should have a reckless speculation button when we're about to go reckless speculating. So this is the Titans should be watching this right now and saying, this is what happens when you go for it. You don't worry about draft picks. You don't worry about anything. Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Franklin. You go out there and you say, Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay, what do you want? We're getting him, and we're going for it next year. So this is the blueprint now. Tampa did it last year. LA's doing it this year. Go and get the players now. Who cares about the draft? Who cares about building? When you have a window to win, you go and win, or else you're going to end up sitting there like the Dallas Cowboys.
Your team in the
they're
NFL.
in no man's land. Like Tennessee, go and win. Sorry, what was the question?
Odell Beckham signing after Robert Woods goes down. It looks like a stroke of genius now.
Yeah, yes. It was because they're going for it. They got Stafford. They got Beckham. I've used my time, but yes, it was genius.
Shane, not only Beckham, a very disgruntled Von Miller.
Yeah, and he made some big plays, as of late, especially in the playoffs. So, but back to Beckham, he may have revamped his career. He's a free agent this year. Like, there's going to be some big numbers coming out. Exactly. Julio's gone. Now, why not? Let's do another $17 million. Get somebody. No, but he's with a good head on his shoulders and the right coach. I mean, look what this guy can do. Quarterback's good. It was a sellout for the Rams, and it's win now, not later. And I think more NFL teams need to take note on that. And I think they always trip over themselves with this whole rebuild, and not want to give away draft picks. But you got to look at when you get a group of rookies, Bengals, for instance, which we'll touch shortly. You get a group of rookies on a rookie contract, and you're way under the salary cap, and you can put in these veteran pieces that are going to help a team win. Like, what are you waiting on? Like, why not do it now? Like, who cares if you don't get a draft pick for 6 years in the first round? Like, go for it. Everyone wants championships. Owners want championships.
The Raiders have missed on a first-round pick the last decade. They don't need them. Just
decade. Go back to Jamarcus, 2000.
I'm just saying. Like, exactly. And chances of missing on a first-round pick are, 50-50 maybe.
Yeah.
So
I'd say
go
90-10.
Yeah, maybe even higher than that. So go for the win now when that window's there. It's just like the Titans. We're in a salary cap restructure as well. Not as bad as Green Bay, obviously, but we've got problems ourselves, and you're going to have to.
Fan, I'd like to run Calvin Ridley out there if you Titans are interested. He's available.
Well, we got to get Ray McCobb too. So
I hope he's healthy.
Yeah, if Rodgers comes, Cobb's a package.
Mentally healthy, and that's serious.
Raj, as our baseball guy, I hate making comparisons to sports, But the Rams did push the buttons and sign the right people and trade for the right people late in the year, similar to what the Braves did in baseball. Is that the new pattern? Late in the year, going to get these few pieces that you need?
I think everyone does it every year. The Dodgers did it for the last 25 years. I don't know if people can tell that I may be a Dodger fan, but they didn't win it until last year. And with the Rams as well, it's pretty anti-Rams. If anyone remembers the old Rams with Georgia Frontieri, going to St. Louis and back when they were in LA, they were in Anaheim Stadium. And I'm using this word for a second time, antithesis of, Stan Kroenke and what we're seeing now with SoFi, which is the most expensive stadium in the history of the world because everyone needs LED lights on top of their stadium.
Hey, he's got Walmart money, man. Walmart money.
Dude, whatever. He did well. Back to the Rams, though. I didn't hear anything from, I want to call him ODB, rest in peace, but OBJ, since he went to the Rams, which is not him. I didn't hear him say a word. And Von Miller is also, fairly ostentatious. Nothing. So
great points.
I attribute that to the organization and to Sean McVay. Wow. I couldn't believe it. I really didn't hear a word from Odell Beckham Jr. It leaves me speechless.
He also kept several running backs happy that were playing. These are probably frontline running backs in Mo team. They're getting 10, 15 carries at max in LA.
Smart.
Let's move on to the Bengals and the Chiefs. In a game that set up to be the greatest storyline ever.
Who dey?
Come on, guys. Who besides me thought the Chiefs were going to win it in overtime with the first possession? Again,
100%.
Again,
100%.
Again, the Chiefs go to overtime. To me, the storyline is the birth of a new superstar. I think Joe Burrow's done enough now that he has caught the imaginations of the U.S. He may not be a superstar in talent yet, but he's a superstar in image. If you listen, when I drop Anna Lee off to school, you hear kids talk, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow. In my office, people that don't even follow football, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow. Raj, is it Joe Burrow or are the Bengals just that good?
It's mostly coaching, in my opinion. But, yeah, I can't take it away from Joe Burrow. I'm not making the comparison, but, he's fairly Brady-esque. He's got a great release. He's obviously very smart. People remember he was a backup at Ohio State. He had to go to LSU and Coach O to come out of his shell. And probably the coordinators had something to do with it. Yeah, man, he's a leader. And that's what I see when I look at him. He was at LSU. Whatever happened between that transfer period, good Lord. I've never seen a player, at least in terms of what I see, which is a media portrayal, flip like that. Back to the Bengals, I think Shane and I both said that we like the Bengals. I mean, even though, again, I'm a Rams guy right now, I mean, how do you pick against Cincinnati? And real quick, they can run the ball, their backs catch the ball again. And, the Chiefs decided to double Jamar Chase. And you got T. Higgins, who's a beast. I mean, look at him. He's skinnier, more svelte Devontae Adams, and Tyler Boyd, 3 receivers, a tight end. Hopefully Uzoma gets healthy. The backup tight end was great. They outcoached Kansas City. They outplayed them. The defense did what they needed to. All I have to say is 2 words, who dey. That's what the Bengals say.
Brendan, you are an Ohio State guy, and you know the story behind Burrow, but let me throw something else for you to comment on. 18 seconds left in the third quarter. Last week, the world killed the Bills for going for 2 early. The Bengals pick up the 2-point conversion in the third quarter, which really put them in line to tie this game by going for it early. Comment on Burrow, his role at Ohio State, why he left. Also, how big was the 2-point conversion?
So the whole Burrow situation at Ohio State, that was, bad on Urban Meyer. Choosing, I think, JT Barrett over him starting. And, Burrow obviously was I don't know the word, self-involved, not self-involved, but anyway, he realized his own talents and needed to be on the field. He couldn't sit back and watch it. So transferring was probably the best thing for him at that moment, obviously. So you go back to the game. I think, like I was saying earlier, they're in a window right now of rookie contracts. They passed on some offensive linemen to get Jamar Chase and to get these pieces around Joe Burrow. And this is an offensive-driven league. Now, granted, facing a defense like the Titans, he's been sacked 9 times, but they can still pull a win out somehow.
Ironically, they let Whitworth go to the Rams, but sorry,
right.
Continue.
No. So they've got this, 3-4 year window where they can put some offensive line pieces in. Defense can shore up a little bit. They're going to be really, really tough to manage. And you've got the Chiefs and the Bills who might have to do a little bit of manipulation with their contracts and moving pieces around. Not for the Bengals. They're in a really great position right now to actually add pieces to a team that has made it there. I mean, Joe Burrow, he is like you guys said, a mini Tom Brady right now. He's a very cerebral quarterback. He studies the game. He releases the ball quick. He makes decisions quick. He can read a defense, and he's got the talent to back it up. And the coach isn't too bad either. So fear the Bengals for the next 3 or 4 years. It's going to be tough to beat.
They're going to get better. You're right.
They have Burrow for 3 more years on his rookie contract, Chase for 4 more years.
And pay him
Robbie,
forever.
You said it earlier in the year. I also had him on one of the fantasy teams. Joe Burrow grew up during this football season in a lot of ways. He struggled at times the first 8 games.
He was a bum.
Yes. So
Robbie is a bum.
Real quick, though, is Josh Allen still on his rookie contract also?
I think this is the end.
I thought he got
last year.
Okay.
Didn't he get paid? Yeah, he's second to like Brady. And
yeah,
he already got paid. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Yes, Randall, I apologize for calling Joe Burrow a bum on numerous occasions.
Not one.
I cannot believe this Cincinnati team is in the Super Bowl because I had this darn Cincinnati team on my fantasy league, and they just came on late and just took off. But I was getting beat over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's why you lost.
But no,
right.
In seriousness, no, like Joe Burrow just doesn't lose big games. He just doesn't for whatever reason. He beat some really good SEC teams, beat Trevor Lawrence in the championship game. Now he's came through Las Vegas, Tennessee, and now Kansas City. My one word for the game this weekend, though, was arrogance. Man, Kansas City, you talk about an arrogant coaching staff, an arrogant organization. You're up 21-3, and they must have either thought, hey, they can't come back, or if they do come back, we can separate again. Because going for 2 and then it was just an arrogant feel. They're at home and no, that this Bengals team is scrappy. They're ready to play, and they've got talent like you've got talent, and they've got coaches like you've got coaches. Yeah, this England coach, I can't believe both of these coaches are our age or younger. It's
Younger than
insane.
Randall and I.
But they are really, really good. And yeah, I thought the Chiefs got cute and
shut down in the second half. They were shut down.
Yeah,
3 points in the last 3 seconds of the second half.
Yeah,
that's just
wow.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to coast into a win.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that. I guess this low scoring of a game was a shock to me. I was expecting it to be a shootout, maybe turnovers, but I mean,
well, that's bad on the Chiefs, though. I mean, they literally did nothing in the second half and just let the Bengals crawl right back in it. And that's the thing. You give a team like that with that much spunk and momentum going right now and belief. Like there's a lot to a locker room when there's belief in a locker room.
Just no giving F's, like hey, you're on the road, you're young, we're gonna be. This is our core for the next 5 years.
Like I said, fun. Yeah, and Burrow was like, I'm tired of the underdog narrative, and I'm sure he preached that at halftime, and it's like he just pulls magic out, and obviously Chiefs could have won that game. Interception with Mahomes in overtime. That was unlike Mahomes. Well, it was Mahomes
after
beginning
a drop
of the year.
Pick 6.
Yeah.
It was like the next play, which is crazy.
No, I'll be back.
Bengals. I don't know how you bet against them in the Super Bowl this year.
I want to ask you a question here. Let's start with you, Shane. You're starting a football team tomorrow. Widely discussed in the NFL is how great the Cowboys receivers are. Gallup, Lamb, Cooper. You taking the Cowboys receivers or the Bengals to start your football team?
Bengals. That's not a question.
No.
Not even a question. Yeah. Bengals.
Rod, you're shaking your head yes, I assume?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm being ironical.
Love CeeDee Lamb.
100% Cincinnati. 110%.
Yeah.
Next question.
If you could trade Higgins for CeeDee Lamb, I'd take
part
that.
Of the Bengals, not Joe Mixon, because every time they get in trouble, they can do what the Chiefs couldn't do, which is turn around and get 3 yards with Joe Mixon. Even though that offensive line's not the greatest, he's productive and averages close to 4 yards a carry. Is Mixon the missing piece that we're all looking around in the playoffs looking for? A good back with an okay offensive line.
Mixon is he's a great back. He's a great running back, and the Bengals run offensive line when they're in run mode. They do well. Like they can run the ball. It's pass protection is where they have trouble. So I don't discount their offensive line on the run game. Mixon is really good. He's one of the top backs in the league. I think, rushing this year, probably top 5 or somewhere in there.
1,213 TDs.
But you've got to have that complementary. Sorry, something like you know what I mean.
Vegetable
back in the field to relieve some of that pressure, especially when your offensive line is not that good at the pass blocking. Opens up a little bit of play action, which I don't think they run too much of that. It's more of Burrow scurrying and catching Higgins or Chase down the field, but. It's a big piece of the pie for sure. It is to their success is Joe Mixon.
Robbie, you get the last question about the Bengals, and we've talked about a couple of different things.
I got a great point.
Go ahead, Raj.
Put me on the spot. The running backs caught 97 balls. The most impressive thing about Joe Mixon was that he caught 42 balls and he averaged almost 8 yards per catch. What does that tell you? The receivers are doing their job. They're getting downfield, but both backs, again, can catch the football. Burrow finds them. That's all I have to say.
All right, we'll come back around with this one because I think this is a great point here. Robbie, how good is that Bengals defense? And could you name 3 people off of it before last week? Because I couldn't have.
I still can't. No, they shut down, albeit a injured Tennessee team, but held them to 16 points. They held the Raiders. I can't remember what that score was. They held the
23-16.
Yeah, 16. So, okay, and they held the Kansas City to 24 points. In today's NFL, if you can average, your defense can average holding a team under 20 points in the playoffs against really, really good teams, really well-coached teams, really good, talented teams, you got to like those chances.
Brandon, give us a word on the Bengals defense, and Rod, you'll finish up on the segment.
No, I agree. I couldn't name one of them still right now. But they're, just like Robbie said, I mean, holding them to that many points in a playoff. Let's get it straight. Playoff games are so hard to win in the NFL. I mean, so hard to win. So when you get to that level, things change. This isn't a regular season game. I mean, coaching is better. Players are better. Everyone's more prepared. So it is very, very tough. I mean, look at Rodgers against the 49ers is what, 0-4 in playoffs against 49ers. So you look at elite quarterbacks and situation, it's a very, very tough situation. And then when you can have a defense that can hold someone, especially, like a high-powered offensive team or something of that nature to 20 points or less, I mean, your chances are above 50% to win that game. So, I mean, like I said, the window for the Bengals right now, like NFL beware, they're scary right now. Like you give them a couple draft picks, this team is really scary.
Well, and with Ben retiring, their division just got a lot weaker.
Yeah, totally agree.
That's a great point because you have Baker Mayfield, unknown, and Lamar Jackson in that division now.
And now Pittsburgh should be 2 wins. So them running from the wild card up, or at least the home wild or the division winner, but you're looking at maybe home field next year.
Yeah.
Rod, close us out on the Bengals, and then we'll get them moving on.
First of all, I want the world to know that Randall is a great host because we love to interrupt, especially Robbie and I. And he said, Raj, close us out. Before we got into this, we call it road mapping. And that was a nice job because I tend to butt in just a little bit. How can you not name people on the Bengals? I mean, 3 Caucasians and an Indian guy. They have 2 white defensive ends. Caucasians. Yeah, Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard, over 20 sacks between the two. Jesse Bates is a safety, so I named 3. Von Bell.
We didn't all go to law school in Cincinnati.
That was like 20 years ago, bro.
No, it's my bad. There's a few Ohio State guys on there. I'll just put on the spot. I couldn't think
still
of
have no
anybody.
idea.
Von Bell made the interception, though, by the way, at the end.
Exactly.
Local product.
Tannehill
really?
threw 3 picks in the division round. I still don't know who intercepted them.
Von Bell made the key interception at the end.
Probably almost any of them. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I can't recall, to be honest, the Bengals defensive coordinator, but dude, that dude deserves a medal because they flipped the switch. They were porous. They were getting run on. I guess it's Lua Anarumo, based on my friend Google. Wow. They shut down the Titans, the run game. Sorry, guys, but they destroyed Derrick Henry and, just annihilated, really. Just destroyed.
Yeah.
But look at Kansas City, 3 points in the second half. I can't believe the Raiders stayed within 7, but wow. How do you, again, Shane and I said it, how do you bet against that team right now?
Yeah. Well, you look at the coaching, though, like the halftime adjustments. That is huge, especially in playoff games. And you look how they flipped the script on Kansas City, and they absolutely shut them down. Kansas City was coasting to, another Super Bowl easily. And
Up 18.
yeah, it was just unbelievable. So Bengals are. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I need to hit the button again. Reckless speculation.
Rec spec.
The rec spec button. Look, they've got to be calling these games differently because it is like Jamar Chase. You could have double teamed in the regular season. It didn't matter. He was open every single play. They're throwing the ball like these games have been low scoring. They've been tight. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but I am saying every single game during
Here
the
we go.
playoffs have been a 1 point at the final moment.
Hey,
score.
do you think the NFL offers them an extra $100,000 to make the
Keep it
games
close.
closer?
I can't
That
wait.
will be our next subject.
Damn.
Let's do some housekeeping on that note. One, we need you to follow us at River City Media Sports on YouTube. If you haven't noticed over the last few weeks, all of our old media, the iTunes is still there as River City Media, Facebook's still there as River City Media, but we're making a move to YouTube. One, so that we can provide you better up-to-date information. You'll see a lot more quick hitter shows going on. We all travel to a lot of games. You'll get updates from games. Shane's a season ticket holder at the Titans. Robbie's a Vols basketball season ticket holder. I'm a Vols football season ticket holder. And Raj Mehta travels more sporting events than anyone I know. So we all should have went to Cincinnati Law School.
And Google's doing a 20-to-1 stock split, so you can buy it cheap. So you can be an
Get it
investor
now.
with us.
Yeah.
I can, yeah, exactly. And you said we had 500,000 views. I thought you were BSing on that one, but wow, good job.
Yeah, we are online with 500,000 followers tonight.
Okay.
We'll see how many views we get out of that.
I should have been
But
more
if you
professional.
would like to support us, we are selling some merchandise for a basic $10 donation. You can get this lovely, lovely black River City Media mouse pad. And you can send all your donations to Randall Cunningham 16. If you'd like to become a monthly sponsor
that on
at
Venmo?
$25 a month, you can also buy this beautiful River City Media t-shirt. One-time gift of $25 will get you in. A continuous gift of $25 over 2 months will get you a shirt and a hat. A gift over 3 months of $25 or more will get you a lovely set of coasters for your home made on a fake marble. You know, we'd like to say it's marble. It's near marble. River City logo involved. 4 of those if you go 3 months or more at $25. All those donations can be sent to Randall Cunningham 16, the official River City Media sponsorship.
Is that Venmo or PayPal?
That's PayPal.
Okay.
For the record, that's all Randall. The three of us do nothing except have cocktails and babble.
Yeah.
We also, while you babble, you can also, the biggest thing you can do for us right now, River City Media Sports, like this video, subscribe to this channel. We have big plans, but we need your support right now to get there. So sorry to interrupt the show with a little advertisement, but we've got to be better about it. So if you can see at the bottom, we'll let it scroll for a while. All this information scrolling at the bottom. Open back up with this $100,000 question. Brian Flores is bringing a lawsuit, which is many faceted. I read the lawsuit. I read an attorney's interpretation of the lawsuit. It's very, very deep. But what is really bothering me at this point is you also had Hugh Jackson come out with the same claim. Both coaches are claiming they were paid bonuses to lose football games. As huge as the NFL is, as big as this juggernaut is, the only thing that I think could derail it right now is something questioning the competition level. So, Raj, what was your initial?
Wait.
Robbie, go ahead.
No.
And
I wanna
and
hear- I
with
wanna
the
hear-
minority.
Wait. I want to hear. I want
And
to
with
hear
the
Raj
minority.
first. I just want
Damn
to.
it.
I just want to clarify, make sure we have it right. I think the reporting was Hugh Jackson claims to have received the payments, and Flores has
Offered the
led
payment.
to have been
Propositioned.
offered the payments.
Yes,
He did
was
not accept.
propositioned.
that is
Right.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
I'd
wanna
like
clear
to
that
close
up,
this
too.
one out as the resident Brown guy. Plus, I have to go use the restroom real quick. So that's professionalism at its finest.
We'll make
Yeah,
two
I got a
rounds, but
lot
you
to
go
say
ahead.
about this.
Robbie, open this up. You were on a roll there anyway.
Yeah, so this so let me try to divert my stances from a fan and from a lawyer. Starting off with a fan, this is deeply troubling, these allegations. Well, we knew this kind of all took place. Like the Rooney Rule. Like, look, the Rooney Rule is a good idea. It's a great idea. It is
Beautiful
letting
idea.
minorities get in the interview room and let them get a chance, whether they get the job or not. Let them impress people. Mike Tomlin, Tony Dungy, probably Brian Flores. People have gotten jobs because they interviewed well, and that goes. Look, man. There's only 32 of these guys, and I emphasize the word guys and white guys. But look, man, they're all old white men, but they're all old white men because they took a gamble back in the 50s that this thing was going to take off, and it did take off. And now, like, you want minority owners. I think we all do. The problem is there's only 32 of them, and they only come up for sale so often. And you're looking at the Broncos now for sale for $4 billion. Well, you're looking at Robert Smith, a black entrepreneur wanting to. It's one of the investment groups. His net worth is estimated at $6.7 billion. So that makes him one of the six of the top 10 richest NFL owners. But that's 80% of his net worth. Most of the NFL owners got these teams cheap. These are toys to them that just happen to generate generational wealth. Al Davis buying the Raiders for $100,000 or $50,000. Now
Broke as a joke.
There's $5 billion worth. Like, that's a return on investment. So you can only have to change the culture, you have to change it from ownership. But how do you do that? Because they don't it's family wealth is passed down. And so as long as there's only 32, it's going to be complicated. And I equate this to an HOA association. And that may be a lame kind of analogy, but it is. Look, there's 32 houses. They came together and said, hey, we want this HOA policy in place where you have to hire minority candidates, or you have to, interview minority candidates. Well, they're doing that. Well, what more can you do? You can't say, hey, I'm going to make you make your living room look a certain way if you don't want it to look that way. There's a certain ownership thing. This is a complicated problem without a real easy or even a possible solution. This lawsuit it's going to get messy, but at the end of the day, I look, and for everyone, let me step back. The NFL is a private company. It is not a government entity. So the Bill of Rights and what you think of constitutional privileges do not apply to private companies. So, and this gets confused with freedom of speech, right? It gets confused so much amongst I'm not saying
Equal
lazy,
opportunity.
yeah,
Great
yeah.
point.
All of
Great
this,
points.
this is a private company that's allowed to make their own rules that are not like you can't discriminate in employment. But saying I want to hire someone that looks like me, that's not discrimination. That's my comfortability. And so this is a touchy subject, and it is very, very complex. And I want to maybe next week or a week after, really, I want to read the pleadings, read the answer once the NFL files it, and really get into the legal arguments of it. If y'all want to hear it, maybe no one wants to hear it. It's a nerdy subject. I guess.
Oh yeah, we want to hear.
No, I definitely want to hear it.
I think us as a society needs to follow that path. You know, I agree with you, Robbie, and I agree with your statements. I also think that as great as the Rooney Rule is, and I do think Mike Tomlin is the finest example of the Rooney Rule, I also worry about it. I worry about the NFL job is a unique job. I worry about coaches being qualified. What amazes me is Eric Bieniemy has interviewed for every head coaching job over the last 24 months, has yet to get one. Now, is that because Mr. Bieniemy, Coach Bieniemy, doesn't interview well? Is it because there's something inherent wrong there? Or is it because all the guys in the NFL believe that Andy Reid is calling those plays on the sideline? It is truly a unique individual situation.
Well, the tricky part of it is, hey, if let's say I'm the Google guys, right, in my garage, I don't necessarily want qualified. I want people that can see my vision, whether that's white, black, Indian, Chinese, Hispanic. I want what I want. That doesn't make me racist. That just makes me what I want. And so that,
Yes.
like, how do you judge intent of people? And so you need smoking guns. And I don't know what Discovery is gonna find out. But yeah, like I don't like for instance, okay, so I run a law office. There's paralegal schools. I think paralegal degrees aren't necessarily qualifications that I look for. I look for street smarts and can you relate to people. So if you give me a person that's a paralegal, worked at a, say, divorce firm for 30 years, they're qualified to work in a legal field, but not for me, because I want street smarts. I want to relate to clients that need injury help. So that's not me stereotyping or me being racist or even. That's just what I want. And that's essentially what Flores is up against is how do you judge what an owner wants? Like, it's their team.
Absolutely. Brendan, as a fan, and you and I are the only non-attorneys in this show, so I think we don't look at it from the legal side, but as a fan, I was sick at my stomach when I saw these incentives to lose games, to increase your draft position. Go ahead and expand on what you think, and plus add that into the end.
So we've all been recklessly speculating for years about teams that are at the bottom tanking to get a number one draft pick for, especially when there's a high profile quarterback or somebody that can change your franchise. That has been speculated for years over fan base, and obviously over ownership. This is no news that's new to me. I feel like this has been going on for a long time. It's just now coming to light in the media. But yeah, of course this has been going on. It's just like players in college have been paid for years. It's been going on for years. Now they get NLI contracts. Somehow they're going to reconcile this and make it all fine. But that doesn't bother me as much as, this whole situation with Flores. So to Robbie's point, I mean, you can't, as an owner, you want what you want. You have a culture, you build it on that, and that's what you're looking for. But the way they went about this, and with the Brady text, I mean, not Brady, but Belichick text with Brian, and him getting somewhat of a Rooney interview, that is just wrong. Like, even if, take color out of the entire situation, even if you have your guy, you still have candidates lined up for an interview. You give them the due diligence to interview properly. And, who knows? Maybe on the owner side, maybe somebody, you thought you had your guy, maybe your mind gets changed. But to come out that way, I think that's what pushed Flores over the edge as far as filing a lawsuit like this. There was several things that, in the past that led up to this, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion. And that, integrity, this guy, like, you listen to him talk, he seems just like a great dude. Like, he's there for the players. Like, he wants to win. And when you're faced with that option, like, hey, I'll pay you an extra $100,000 to lose a game, whatever. And he's like, it's not in me. I can't do it. That's a winner's mentality. So that's got to say something about him and his coaching mentality. Go ahead.
Is the 800-pound gorilla in the room is that he didn't lose games down the stretch?
That's the entire reason why he got fired. Yeah, that's the entire reason why he got fired, in my opinion.
Well, I think the 800
because it was a surprise that he got fired.
I think.
Okay, so if you look at his record in the last 2 years, it's 19-14 in the last 2 years. Bill Belichick's record in the last 2 years, 17-16. Flores has a better record. Like, he's been doing well with less, in my opinion. So to not give this guy an opportunity, and to now, granted, like I said, an owner knows what he wants, and if he had Brian DeBall or whatever already in his mind, that's who he wanted. Okay, get it. But the way they went about it brings on this lawsuit, because it like I said, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. There were so many things that led up to this, and it's going to be a messy situation, and I'm anxious to hear the lawyers' point of views in the coming weeks.
The 800-pound gorilla in the room is, if this is true, like, so there's the racist practices, and then there's this overtly tanking. If this is true, this is a huge wedge between gambling in the NFL, and
Absolutely.
they've got does Ross have to give up the Dolphins? And if it's true what's alleged about Haslam, does he have to sell the Browns? These are powerful men with lawyers, and like, you're talking about a fight to keep these billion-dollar assets against allegations and paper trails and what can be excluded at trial. This could set up to be a fascinating fight against, because you're essentially the commissioner has to say, like what we saw in the NBA, but the NBA did it. The NBA, when they forced Sterling out, that was a blatant racist behavior. Everyone was on board with that. This is simply jockeying to do what you should do. If you're and Brandon and I have sat in the Titans stand, say, yeah, tank for Reggie Bush, tank for, like, we've been there.
Right.
Fans want this. And so the system means if you lose, you get a better draft pick. And so this is overtly the owners paying the coaches to lose. This is the White Sox scandal. This is big. This is the bigger deal than the racism. And while racism is a bigger problem, it's going to be harder to prove that. But if it's true, you paid the coach to lose, two owners may lose their team.
I agree. Not to belittle racism allegations going on here, because I think that is somewhat of a concern, and they really need to get that together and figure that out. But I totally agree. I mean, this, allegations of paying coaches to lose games and tank. Like we said, facetiously, we've all thought that this was, this team needs a tank. Trevor Lawrence is up for quarterback, whoever. We've all said that as fans, and we weren't wrong. Owners have been doing this. I really think so. So they've got a battle on their hands in both aspects.
All right,
I
Rob.
have. May I?
Go ahead,
I want
Raj.
you to
Sorry,
take
buddy.
time, and
No, you're good.
I know you've been waiting to make a point, but I also want you, while you're making this point, not from a legal standpoint, but want you to address it from a personal standpoint.
I don't practice law anymore. That's all Rob. I have a number of rhetorical questions. Number one, how come only 2 African-American coaches have alleged being propositioned to tank games? No Caucasian coaches, and that's like 99.5% of every coach ever to exist.
Very good
Number
point.
2, Robbie is completely right. Ownership is rooted in the sense of supremacy from generations ago, and to their credit, most of them didn't give it up, but most of them were broke as a joke, and I guess they had a vision. But this entire league is whatever the owners want, and why they want, a league that statistically is 60% African American. Really, when you take out 3 quarterbacks on a roster, or a punter and a kicker, I don't want to get into that, but probably 80-85% African American. To have one coach right now, one non-Caucasian owner, I mean, it's baffling. And the Rooney Rule is nonsense. It's BS. Why does it have to exist? It shouldn't have to exist. It's
Totally agree.
nonsensical. As I even, Kendrick Perkins said it perfectly. This wannabe utopia to present this facade of equal opportunity and equal rights, and it's nonsense. So the facts speak for themselves. I mean, I digress, but I mean, literally, I could speak on this for days. Brian Flores, in my opinion, is 100% accurate. This is the best thing to happen in the NFL in a long time, and I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm sure we're going to discuss this many times.
Can I make one
But I would like
2-minute
go ahead,
point?
Robbie. I'm going to give everybody one final word on this subject.
No more.
Yeah, Raj, that was well said. Those were great questions. And the one thing I would point out is there's no excuse for it. But I want people to understand these white men that are on these teams. The majority of them, like, for instance, Jerry Jones was the captain of Arkansas football. It was segregated. Like, there were no black people in the school at all. And now he owns the Cowboys. And this is over and over and over and over again on all these owners, these 70 to 80 years old owners. They're not like us. They're not like the majority of the population that was an overreach. They're not like us about people and so it is hard, and it's a hard concept. And the Rooney Rule, yes, it's been essentially bastardized, but the principle was good, and it has led to minority head coaches. And I do, as much as crap as we give Roger Goodell, he wants it to be more diverse. It's just he works for them, not the other way around. As much as they want to think that he's the face of the NFL, he's not. He's their shield. He takes all the punches, while these rich white owners lay back and be like, "Yeah, blame him."
Makes them money.
Yep.
Brandon, you got anything else to add? Because I'm telling you, this is not the last time we've discussed this.
No, I know. We'll definitely discuss it again. you got to hire the best candidate for the job, and the best candidate that fits your vision and what you're trying to do. And until we take color out of it, it's going to be hard to achieve because we're going to hit speed bumps just like we're hitting right now.
To that point, my final word is that if we have that argument of those that, state that it's about qualifications, well, how do you attain those qualifications? It's about opportunity that's rooted in decades and decades of this.
Yeah.
You can't say like the enemy is proof. I mean, what more can you do than to be a coordinator of one of the best offenses, a historical offense, and not get the opportunity? It's not about qualifications. Again, like most things, anything in life, it's rooted, and it's a mechanism, and I wish it didn't exist.
Well, to your point, Raj, I think we're in a transition in society of that.
That's what I didn't want to get into.
I
That's
know.
a 5-hour
We could just
conversation.
dish on this for hours.
It is.
For
One
hours.
We
thing
could.
I would add
It is.
A week.
is I'd like to bring up Jarrett Mayo real fast. A very young NFL coach, very not ready in my opinion by his resume to be a NFL head coach, but he gets interviews, and I don't want to think. I think Jarrett Mayo is going to be a great NFL coach someday, but I worry that his interviews are to fill the Rooney Rule.
It's
And that's
obligation.
not the spirit of the Rooney Rule right now. I don't know if Jarrett Mayo has a chance to get one of those jobs, but he's included in every one of the jobs. So
That is the spirit of the Rooney Rule. It's obligation. Jared Mayo's young. He's 35. He's coached for a little bit. He's a linebackers coach. Yeah, he's on Belichick's staff, but that's the Rooney Rule. It's entirely obligation. And you're right. We should move on because this is a topic that we should discuss for the rest of eternity. Rob, you keep doing this, and then we go around the horn again.
No, I will say
last
real
word,
quickly,
Robbie Davis.
No.
real quickly though. I go to trial a lot of cases that shouldn't be going to trial because I just want trial practice, and it makes me a better lawyer. So I do think the Rooney Rule in that effect does at least help. The more you interview, the more you know what questions they're going to ask, the more it does make you prepared for the time you get the job you want to take.
Proof is in the pudding.
Good
Still
point.
only
All right,
one
guys.
coach.
This will be a many much discussed subject, and it is the test of the NFL right now. But let's go ahead and head towards that time of the night where we all become degenerate gamblers. And Robbie tells us to pick Tennessee basketball. It is a sure thing.
Every
And
week.
finally, they did win after beating Texas A&M. Lost at Texas, but
They lost the spread. They were
That-
11
that is
point
true.
favorite.
I told you.
That was a great play, man. Dude just didn't – Josiah, he didn't make the shot. That was a phenomenal play. It was like Bryce Drew back in the day in the NCAA tournament.
It was.
You got to make
It
that
was.
shot. Gotta
Was
make
he
that
a
shot, bro.
five-star guy?
I was
Who's going to go to the NBA?
I was so angry at the Vols fans. I literally stayed on hold on Tony Basilio's talk radio show after the game. So I was going to call in and blast Tennessee fans. I was like, what do you want? What more do you want? It was an open 3-point shot. Like that. You got it was perfect.
Perfect.
They didn't let me in.
Bastards.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to save our Super Bowl picks till later. And we'll have a lot more on the Super Bowl next week. But let's go ahead and put some if you've got anybody on the upset alert, which it's hard to put anybody on upset alert for me right now, because like Robbie Davis, I'm going to be going to NASCAR for my Bet Your Nuts.
Oh.
And unlike Robbie Davis, I'm not going to be picking Kyle Larson. I am going to give you Denny Hamlin to top 3 at -145, or no, top 5 at -145. in the Busch Class in LA this week. Give me Denny Hamlin, the top 5, the first race of the NASCAR season. Raj, Meta, you are up next.
Is this just bet your nuts? No final word?
Oh, no, this is just bet your nuts. You're going to get your
Oh,
final
okay.
word.
Well, I'm going Chain's route. Robbie and I love college basketball, and they give you 1 day's advance on spreads because Vegas isn't stupid. But Ohio State -5.5 at home at a reeling Iowa team who just lost at Penn State. That's where I'm going.
Damn you, Raj. You just stole my
Suck
thunder.
it.
That was
With the
exactly
first
what I was
word of
going.
an hour and 20 minutes, Brendan Chain is up next.
Is that really a cuss word though? They
I
say
don't
that
think
on the
so.
radio everywhere.
I think
On
you're
local
okay.
radio.
Only in the
don't
South,
think
that's a cuss word. Only in the South.
No.
Well, go.
Anyway, I
that's like
concur with
Raj.
Raj. It is Ohio State. Take it.
How
Raj.
convenient. Sorry.
You.
I'm cracking up over here.
No.
Hey, weird spread. UCLA crushed Arizona. They play tomorrow night at Arizona. Arizona's a 6-point favorite. It's about matchups. I don't think UCLA is going to win, but Vegas knows more than the rest of us. I just was like, what? That's a
Did
weird
you
spread.
get your pick in for real, buddy?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Raj
Nice.
took it. So, yeah.
Stole
All
it.
right.
I
Robbie
concur
Davis.
with Raj. We got 2 of them. So you better
You gonna
bet your
pick
nuts
Kyle
on that.
Larson to win the Busch Class.
Well, one, I don't know why Raj and I aren't out in LA for that race in the Coliseum, but that's another topic.
I've never
That
been
looks
to a
awesome.
race. Sold
I
out,
haven't.
man.
I haven't either.
It looks awesome.
What? You've never been to a race?
No, got Bristol.
You've
on my
never
car.
been to a race?
No.
Holy
Oh
cow.
my god.
Even my wife went to Daytona with some redneck.
No.
I shouldn't say that.
I've-
boyfriend like 30 years ago.
Have y'all been to
Sorry,
races?
Randall.
Oh my god. I've been to like 7.
I retract that statement.
Yes.
But yes,
I've got to take you
continue,
to
please.
Daytona, Talladega, Bristol night race. Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
You went to Bristol for football, but continue, please. I'm sorry.
Okay, so yeah, this is hard this time of the year because the spreads run out, as we've already said. Duke at North Carolina Saturday night. I think Coach K gets the win, his last win in Chapel Hill, and I don't think Hubert Davis has got the manpower to keep up with Duke. So I got Duke, whatever that spread is. I'll take the points. I probably think it'll be 6.5. I'll take Duke in that one.
Quickly, I'll take Stanford +2 at home against Washington State. Chen can have Ohio State
Tonight?
tomorrow.
All right, guys.
Tomorrow.
Closing comments. I'll go first. I've been out for a couple of weeks. I just want to thank you 3 for keeping the ship running for about 3 weeks while I had a bout of COVID, fell off the ladder, and some other stuff. And by the way, my beard, considering I've been living like a hermit, is looking pretty strong right now. I think I'm going to stay with it a little while. So my final words is a thank you to my 3 brothers in Reckless Speculation. Thank you for keeping it running. Fist bump.
Yep. Glad you're better, buddy.
I'm glad to be back, and I'm sitting on a heating pad right now, if you must know. Brendan James, you can go next.
Final words. Looking forward to Super Bowl in a week. And looking forward to seeing what's going on with this Flores situation. And can we just get over this racism bull crap? It's so tiring. Come on. We're all people. Let's figure this out. Come on.
When he says bull crap, he means racism in general, not people crying racism. I don't mean to speak for you, but
No, you're exactly right.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, sorry. I didn't mean if that came across the wrong way.
I got it.
You're good.
Raj Meta, over to my side here, or below me. Next word, final word,
That was-
sir.
That was racist. Sorry, I don't mean to make light of a very
You're
serious.
kicked off the air for those kind of movements.
I don't mean to make light
No,
of an extremely
I'm
serious
glad-
situation.
It
He said
is.
I'm below
yeah.
him.
No, I was
Below
talking about
him.
Randall pointing down to Raj.
Exactly. Then he said I was below him, but I digress. It's a joke.
Here,
Poor
we'll
joke.
put Rod, does this make you feel better being the top square?
There you go.
I'm Whoopi Goldberg. I'm the center square. Oh, sorry, another topic. Number one, National Signing Day. Texas A&M had a historically great class, I guess. Jimbo's never won it. We'll see. I've got to give props. You guys are big Tennessee pumpers, all three of you. Lincoln Riley had 2 months with USC. He ends up with a number 9 overall class overall, including, switching about 5 OU dudes. Oklahoma fans, by the way, are the saltiest people on earth. I get it. Nothing else than Norman. I feel bad for you because you said some terrible things. But hey, that's the internet. The coup d'etat was flipping Caleb Williams, who's a great young quarterback.
Mhm.
Super excited. SC still needs more of a defense, especially in the trenches. That's one thing Pete Carroll did when he got there was recruit OL and DL. But, to say SC's relevant again is nonsense to me because it's a top 3 program of all time. But it's true. Second, Randall, you've been through a lot in your life. There's no doubt about it. You don't ever complain. You don't tell anybody anything. We try to ask. You don't say anything. I'm just glad you're okay. We didn't do what without you. You're the host with the most. Who else can babysit? The 3 of us, it's like herding cats. Finally, rhetorically speaking, again, I say it, the Rooney Rule, I don't want to start a discussion per se, but why does it exist? It exists for a reason. I guess I answered my rhetorical question. Sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
Robbie Davis, bring it home.
Nerds. We're such a-
Well,
I've
well
got
done.
I've got 4 quick topics I'm going to hit on. They're going to be quick though, I promise.
quick, my
Mm.
I think there's going to be 2 SEC teams in the Final Four. I think Auburn and Kentucky are looking fantastic, and they are looking like they're teams to beat. That being said, the Vols are getting it together. They should be in the second weekend. With some luck, maybe the third weekend. The race, the Coliseum, is going to be fantastic. You guys all need to tune in. It's not necessarily NASCAR, but it is showing you how great these drivers are at driving it. Like, this is a condensed track. This is going to be
It's tiny.
It was literally a track for the 1932 Olympics in Jesse Owens.
This is them racing on a film track. Like, it's going to be insane. So, sports don't end after next weekend, after the Super Bowl. A lot of things going on. NASCAR's going on. College basketball's going on. Which brings me to my second to last point. Baseball, if you don't get it together quickly, you are going to get left out of the cycle. And that cycle will keep rolling on without you. I cannot believe they're still negotiating 10 minutes at a time. They've got to get together. They've got to play baseball this year. As people are going out and doing things and spending money that they still have saved up, they're just getting, they haven't spent on different other stuff. Disposable income is getting less and less. If you buy tickets to, say, one sport, baseball's going to get left behind. And then finally, I don't know who else woke up at 3:30 a.m. to watch Nadal win his 21st major. But, oh my gosh, what a performance that was. And
what a comeback that was.
Yes. Yeah. Down 2-0 and to win
Love
3
that,
sets
dude.
in a row. And me as a personal pro-vaccine person and a very little tolerance for anti-vaxxers, I was so glad to see Djokovic be sitting on his couch, not being able to participate. And now the French Open's next. Rafi's going to probably get 22. You're 2 behind. And then let's see what Wimbledon does, if they let you in or not. Get the freaking vaccine so we can all get over this and let's get on with our lives so we can all get better. That's my final words.
Absolutely.
Done.
Also, a couple of things to promote. We've promoted all of our T-shirts. Or about
Did Shannon's final words?
Speakeasy 3:30 guys will have a live broadcast during Super Bowl.
He already talked.
Did he?
Yeah.
Already talked?
I got
Yeah.
more to say.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Don't we all?
Jim Harbaugh is going to stay at Michigan and not take the Vikings job, just so you know.
And hey,
gonna beat
before we
Ohio
come back
State
on
again.
next week, he'll be the head coach
No.
of somewhere else. The Speakeasy 3:30 guys will have a live broadcast going on during the Super Bowl. I'm sure some of us will drop in there every now and then, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of like a virtual tailgate.
Yeah, send us the link.
them
I'll
invite us.
definitely drop in.
Do what, Robbie?
Have them invite us. Yeah. If they want us, I'll
They
jump in.
invited us because they invited me, and I was supposed to tell y'all, but I forgot about it.
Just
I
send me
don't
the
want
link.
to
I'll
bug.
show up uninvited. I don't care.
Randall Cunningham, Rod Meta, Robbie Davis, and as always, breaking the train, B-Chain, Brandon Chain. Thank you for watching River City Media. Ridiculous speculation. It is not.
Reckless.
Oh, my
Reckless.
Reckless.
I'm trying to
Respect.
make a joke here. Stay with me.
Respect, bro.
Reckless speculation. I knew it this time. This is one time I had it. Reckless speculation on River City Media. Look below for how to give, how to support. Good night.
Fight
Good show,
on.
boys.
Fight on.